Now it's time to eat. This is so delicious. This is so lovely. This is so amazing. So I'm very sure that in some countries, people are not aware that chicken eggs can actually be eaten. And in today's video, I want to show you how to prepare boiled chicken eggs. There are several ways of preparing eggs, but in this case, we are going to focus on boiled eggs. And I am going to show you how to prepare boiled eggs. So if you want to learn something new that you never knew, then stay tuned to the end of this video. If you love this video, make sure you give it a like, comment down below, and let me know if I've actually inspired you in one way or the other. Without further ado, let's get into the video. So hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time here, welcome and welcome back. My name is Devance Ogweno and this is Devance Empire. In today's video, I want to show you how I make my boiled eggs. When we talk about eggs, we have different methods of actually preparing them. Actually, in this case, we are talking about chicken eggs, not any other egg that you know.
Is it funny? No, it's not funny. Is it funny? No, it's not funny. Is it funny? No.
So we are going to prepare chicken eggs. Currently, these are my eggs. They are raw. There are several ways of preparing eggs. We have egg omelets, we have egg stew. You can decide to fry them with cooking oil. You can decide to fry them without cooking oil. You can also decide to boil them. And today in this video, we are going to boil our eggs. And that is what I want to show you. There's so many hacks of preparing eggs. So the first thing that I'm gonna do, you have to know how many eggs are going to be enough for you. Like for me, in this case, I only need 4 eggs. So I'm going to boil these eggs. As you can see them, I'm going to boil them and I'm going to take you through the process until when they are ready to be eaten. First of all, I hope you will enjoy this video. Second, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't yet subscribed. Watching without subscribing is also fun, but now you won't be notified every time I post videos. I know you love my content, and if you love them, you'll want to receive notifications every time I upload videos. Subscribe and turn on the notification bell. Meanwhile, let's start cooking. So the first step is to ensure our eggs are clean. We have to wash them, simply because these ones have come from the chicken and they have passed through many hands, so you have to make sure they're clean. You have to be very careful while washing them so that you don't actually burst them. They're very vulnerable. Once our eggs are clean, the next step is to add water in our clean sufuria until they're all covered in water. As you all see, when the water is enough, you'll cover and actually introduce them into your fire. So we are going to boil them for about 10 to 15 minutes and they'll be ready. Meanwhile, as our eggs are boiling, let's go to the next step, which is preparing our onions and tomatoes, kachumbari in our local language. That is how we call them. So I have my onion here and tomato. You'll make sure first you peel your onions. So we are gonna start by cutting our onions. Make sure you cut them very, very, very small, like tiny. This is just enough. So you will introduce your onions in a clean container this way, and then you'll add some salt, just little salt. After doing this, you'll add some water in it. Actually, the water that you should be adding here should be warm, but I will add cold water in this case. Just a little, and then you let it rest for a while. This is just to take away the bitterness in it. You know, onions are very bitter because you're going to eat them raw. And then next step is we cut our tomatoes, also very tiny, in a cubical manner. So for onions, you see I've used a half an onion, but for tomatoes I'm gonna use one whole ripe and red tomato. After doing this, I will transfer it into this clean container. So after doing this, I will pour out the extra water in our onions before we can mix them with our, food. Sometimes you can just use a sieve. It will make work easier for you. And then you add them into your tomatoes. After doing this, add salt and maybe pepper if you have. In this case, I'm not gonna add pepper, but I'm only going to add just a pinch of salt, little, just little. Then you mix again. Our kachumbari is ready. Maybe I can just tell you that there are different ways of making kachumbari. Other people would prefer, after getting to this point of adding onions and tomatoes, they will add things such as coriander, that is dhania, pilipili hoho, and maybe other spices. You know, the herbal spices that I use, they're just good. You can actually consume them when they are raw. They are so good to the human body. They don't have chemicals. They're just good. They're herbal. They're herbs. They treat you well. So in this case, you can also add even avocado, the avocado fruit itself. But for me, in our video today, let's just work with onions and tomatoes to make our kachumbari. Meanwhile, our eggs are still boiling. It's almost 10 minutes right now. Let's give them 15 minutes. And once they're ready, I will show you the next step. So let them keep boiling.
5 minutes later.
15 minutes later, our eggs are ready. How will you know your eggs are ready? You'll have to give them enough time to boil. Let them boil in the water for 15 good minutes. Make sure the heat is moderate. It doesn't have to be so hot. It doesn't have to be so low. It has just to be average heat. So once the eggs are boiled for 15 minutes, you see I have another clean sufuria here. I'm going to transfer all of them into another sufuria. So I have to take them out of the hot water. Remember not to overcook your eggs. When you overboil them, then your eggs will start cracking. At this moment, our eggs are very, very hot. So what we will do, we will add some cold water so that they can cool so fast. So we leave them here for roughly 1 minute, let them cool, and then I show you the next step. As soon as our eggs have actually cooled, as you see, I can touch them freely. That means they've cooled. Now the next step is peel them off. It's kind of hectic, but it's worth the process. So you'll hit them slowly by slowly so that it can crack. As you see, it's cracking. You don't overdo it, just a little, that way, and then you start the process of peeling them off. Maybe I can peel them on this container. There are a few people who are experienced in doing this. By now they should be done. Sometimes using the spoon is difficult for me, so I'll just use my hands very fast. So you'll have to do this for all of them.
5 minutes later.
So after we've achieved this, after peeling them, as you see how they look like, they're white and the yolk inside is yellow. We'll cut them into smaller pieces and arrange them in a clean plate. In this case, if you have a black plate, they would look so lovely because the eggs are white and your plates are black. So you'll take each this way and cut it into 4 pieces. You have to be very careful. This way, and then do this. Arrange them in your plate. Presentation of food is very important. How you serve food on the table or in your plate really matters. I learned that while I was still a houseboy in some house where I used to do a lot of cooking. That's why I learned most of these cookings. How you present food, people will judge you from it. So you have to be organized. All right. So once we have these ones, at this stage, you can add very, very little salt. Remember, in our kachumbari, we had put some salt, and sometimes if you don't like too much salt, then there's no need to have too much of it. So our eggs are here, our kachumbari is here. So we just do our kachumbari like this, just on top. We add little or enough. This is just for all this food. Actually, nothing wrong if you eat the whole of it, because if it remains here, it will go bad. I don't have a fridge. Wow. Do you like what you're seeing, guys? As you see? Wow. The sweetness of this food is the salt. Now, you can eat this without anything, or you can choose to eat them with some tea. In my case here, I'm gonna take them with tea. All right. You might need a fork for this, and maybe a spoon, who knows. Let me show you how to eat them now. So guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video from the start to the end. This is our final result. As you all see, it looks so beautiful, so lovely on a black plate, because the eggs are white, the yolk is yellow, the tomatoes are red, and the onions are actually, green and whitish in color. I hope it's making sense. It's a food that looks so lovely, it looks like a flower. And I hope you've enjoyed this video from the start to the end. I'm so great that now you won't have a reason to sleep hungry because you don't know what to do with your eggs, or you only knew one style of making your eggs. This is enough for breakfast, and a good breakfast. Now it's time to eat. This is so delicious. This is so lovely. This is so amazing. Chicken are everywhere, and you can find eggs anywhere, all over the world. Go try this and let me know what you think about my recipe. So simple and straight to the point. This is so good. It took me 20 minutes to prepare all this, and it's just enough for breakfast. If you've enjoyed this video, make sure you give this video a like. Just like it, and then let me know if you have any thoughts or mixed reaction. Let me know in the comment section, and we will be glad to share from that point together. And until next time, always work hard and be nice to people. This is Devance Empire, end of discussion. Peace.